everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Reviewcade. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Spider-Nick.
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 Does whatever a Spider-Nick
I would be a bad
can.
Spider-Man because I can only swing with one hand. So, like, I can only shoot web. I only have, like, one web capsule.
How would you go about managing that, then, as Spider-Man?
I would have to have, like, a shooter that can, like, go like that. Like, people can't see it, but I'm basically, like take your arm and just, like, bend it, like, straighten it out, basically. And that's what I would have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a big little button I would have to tap on my stub.
I wonder where she got that backpack.
Zoomies.
Zoomies! Nice. Actually, she looks a little bit more Hot Topic-esque to me.
Yeah,
but,
more Hot Topic circa like 2005, 2006 when I saw the more gothic kind of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who all he did was shop at Hot Topic, and he would buy like the straight jackets they had and everything like that. Yeah. It was a very interesting time at Hot Topic during the early 2000s. If you weren't around to experience it, oh yeah, we find out that Finn is the Tinkerer.
Aww.
Surprise! Although if...
But my love! See, now this is a fight that could be solved by kissing. Because she doesn't know that he's Spider-Man, right?
No, she doesn't know that he's...
Like in that one scene where they're getting the time capsule,
no, she doesn't know.
Didn't see him, right?
No, she doesn't know that she doesn't know that he's Spider-Man.
Well, isn't that... And is that... No, that's not Prowler. That's just...
No, that's just no,
random
you'll know who Prowler is when you see Prowler. His suit in this is very badass.
Do we get to see him, like, early on, or is he more...
He's kind of like towards the second act, kind of like a little bit more mid-game.
Gotcha.
It's basically he's after, so just like in the last Spider-Man game, you see on the box art for Miles Morales, he has that new black suit.
Mm-hmm.
Prowler shows up like after you get that black suit. Yeah. The storyline between Prowler and Miles in this game is very, very well done. Because it's just, again, it's one of those, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's just one of those overprotective parent, I'm doing this for your best interest, and
kind of things, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, I'm 18, I can make my own decisions now,
I'm an adult.
Yeah, well,
I'm Spider-Man, not Spider-Teen.
Yeah, well,
okay,
it's that typical parental thing where it's like, also in this, his uncle, who is the Prowler, and his dad don't have a good relationship. Like their ties together are like severed basically. And so it's one of those like, I lost your dad, I don't want to lose you kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So
for your best interest, I'm going to beat the shit out of your face.
Or stop you from doing a certain task. Pretty much. But yeah, they do a really good job of building up that relationship. So it's not just like this is some guy who just happens to be my uncle. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh no, they do. It's honestly, it's like in Spider-Verse. The bond that he and his uncle have in Spider-Verse is kind of the bond that he and his uncle grow in this one.
That person definitely fell on a nice little pad of spider.
A little boat.
It was a spider boat. Definitely
a
spider boat.
Yeah.
They did not fall to their death.
No.
Atop this bridge.
No, they did not go immediately splat and die when they hit the water. Not at all. That did not happen, folks. Okay, so we kind of talked about like what it would be like if I was Spider-Man, like how I had to do it. So if you were to be, and let's stay with Marvel since this is a Marvel game. If you could be, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, we're going to turn your life into a certain Marvel hero," but it's going to be built around you. Like, how would you live as a certain hero? Who would that hero be?
Do you mean like what specific hero?
If Marvel came to you and said, "Hey, you're going to be Spider-Man," but how would you play or how would you act as Spider-Man? So in the Marvel universe, you don't have to be Spider-Man. You can be any hero in the Marvelverse. Who if you could be anybody in the Marvelverse, who would you be and how would you be them? Like, how would your life rotate around being that hero?
Man, that is I haven't thought about like what superhero I would personally want to be. I mean, for the longest time, my favorite hero in just Marvel in general was Nightcrawler. Just because
I love Nightcrawler.
I liked the idea of being able to teleport.
Yeah.
Teleportation's like one of my dreams. That like I just know we'll probably never see the actuality in our lifetime. And his ability to just teleport where like if he can see it, he can teleport to it. I know there are ways in which I could essentially like I could set up there are ways that you could go around not the like limitations of his ability, but like I know that people have talked about, well, if he can only see, like, he can only teleport to what he can, like, where he can see. There, with like modern technology, if someone's setting up a live stream, if I can see it, I can teleport to it now. You know what I mean? Like, let's say I want to go to Hawaii. All I have to look up is Hawaii live stream, look at it, and be like, okay,
I'm in Hawaii.
I'm now in Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like having the only negative of his life, that like gives me reservation is the whole like people are terrified of him because he looks like a demon.
Yes.
And that was like I think the only reservation. I'd want his powers without the like stigma of that, but God, that's really tough to I'm not sure what hero I would want to be. That is a very good question because there's a lot of options, and I'm honestly right now forgetting a lot of the people that I did like when I was younger.
Yeah.
Do you have one on deck already? So I have some time to think about so there's not just dead air.
Oh yeah,
so this is a really riveting episode of silence.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Because again, Nightcrawler was my favorite. Is my favorite X-Men, but since you already took Nightcrawler,
I have not formally taken Nightcrawler.
No,
I like Nightcrawler, but that's not the power is what I like. I don't know that I want the his story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So for me, well, no, you wouldn't take a story; it'd be like your own thing.
Oh, my own version.
Yeah, your own version. Yeah, like Nightcrawler is very religious. You don't have to be very religious. You know, you can be. However, you can basically build your version of this hero in any way you want to. Yeah, so for me, I mean, you know, yeah, you got Spider-Man in there. Iron Man, yeah. But like, I'm just trying to think of, like, because again, X-Men I think would be the best thing to pull from.
Because there's so many people.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I could... I don't know. Because I think it was like Wolverine. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe a Wolverine type, but in all honesty, like, man, Because I mean, again, there's Iron Man stuff like that. I'm just trying to go through the Rolodex in my head right now of heroes in the Marvelverse. Probably the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy who gets his legs torn by Rocket Raccoon, except it'd be his arm. No. Here's one that I don't think. Mr. Fantastic.
Okay, why Mr. Fantastic?
So Mr. Fantastic can stretch. Of course, you know he can stretch his body, you know, to ungodly lengths, and he can slide through doors and stuff like that. But as somebody with one arm, it's like, oh, it'd be great to like extend my stub and be like grab stuff and do certain things, or
because he has like his body, he can control the molecular.
Yeah, he can.
He
can kind of change the way his face looks, kind of like that. I can drive a stick shift. Stuff like that. Because again, I'm thinking, because now it's easy to say, oh, like Iron Man or this, and it's like, well, I got money and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, again, as somebody with one arm, like, well, what character would I benefit from being the most? Spider-Man, yes, would be one. Mr. Fantastic would be another. You know, yeah, I'm trying to think of just other heroes, you know, within Marvel, but like I'm just trying to think. Oh, fuck, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, because they actually showed somebody with one arm in the MCU movie doing like sorcery type of stuff. It was really cool.
So sorcery would be available.
Sorcery would be
without
so.
any
So
restriction.
I know I said Mr. Fantastic. I have to go Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange would that would be awesome to just be able to like not just control time, but just like move things and stuff like that with my mind and my hand and just not have to be reliant on having both hands and just be able to do certain things. Yeah, so it's just that. Yeah, I'm gonna go Doctor Strange. Plus, also that cloak is so badass. I want to wear it.
Huh. God, there's just so many options. But then again, you have your question of how would you do it? Like, how would your...
So I would do... So instead of time, I would try to... I would be like... This is not weird, but just... The Doctor Strange... The kind of like the Robin Hood version of Doctor Strange, where like... Instead of taking from the rich, give to the poor, it's like... Oh god, this is going to be very like... People are going to hear this and go, aw. But like, I can use sorcery in a way to like make makeshift prosthetics for children and people who have some sort of disabilities. Again, if they want it, because there's people like myself who, well, yeah, I've had a prosthesis, but I don't really care for one, kind of thing. But like, just something. There's something I could be able to do, or like open up, because you can open up, portals like that. So I can open up a portal to a place where somebody can. Where they have like actually arm implants, where you can get it done and stuff like that, and yeah, so something like that could help people, like with that. So that's what my sorcery would be around. It wouldn't be necessarily around time. It would be around just helping people and stuff like that with who have limb differences and stuff. And this is, of course, as you can tell, the scene where they're making the new suit.
The new suit, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen. I know you've seen the box art, but I don't know if you haven't seen it in person though. Like, because actually, it's probably it's probably my favorite suit in the game. Is the
main suit.
This main
the
suit.
Miles Morales suit.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I have settled on Charles Xavier.
Ooh.
Because that man can pull off a bald head like nobody's business.
Yes.
And as much as I love having the hair that I have, it would be nice to know that even in old age, I'd still look like a sexy motherfucker. And I do like the new Charles Xavier, the one that like he can walk.
Yeah.
But I feel like my take on Charles Xavier would be because like Cerebro is great and all, and you're getting like access to all these mutants, like being able to locate all the mutants and make sure that they're safe and blah blah blah. I feel like there are so many more practical uses for Charles Xavier's abilities,
right?
That could influence and better help humankind as a whole outside of mutants and superheroes, etc. That like. There's more that Charles Xavier could do if he didn't just focus on the plights of
mutants.
And so I feel like the Charles Xavier that I would want to kind of emulate would be he'd be focusing on the betterment of an advancement of mankind through his telekinetics. Or he is a telekinetic, isn't he?
He is telekinetic.
He has telepathy and telekinesis. It's just not as strong as somebody, say, like Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But he is capable of moving things with his mind and reading people's minds and also like talking to people in his minds. And I feel like at least my Charles Xavier would be capable of like putting people into the same headspace and like brokering peace deals and like I feel like he would become more of a humanitarian than just for mutant kind, because he's already working really hard to fight for mutants, but I feel like his power is not as utilized as it could possibly be used,
right?
And I feel like I would take advantage of his abilities a lot more, and I think that if I were to play Charles Xavier, it would be that it would be a focus on like kind of the moral gray area that would be present, because like you can learn things and understand things and know things about people that they're not willing to talk about, that they don't want to share, that it like, is it safe to share this information?
Right.
Like it would become more about like the and that person definitely fell on a spider. That person too. And him. You know, all these guys are just landing perfectly fine on top of very safe and secure spider things. I would like to explore that sort of gray area of like what is the privacy that I'm allowed to have when there is none. You know what I mean? When I have access to the minds of anyone I deem, and like, I don't know, I feel like honestly that could become, outside of it being a comic book movie, like a story about, I don't know, ethics and morality and like whether, you know, I don't know. I'd like to explore that more, because like realistically, what has Charles Xavier kind of been the example of? It's like, I'm the moral good mutant, and I'm the example that everybody should follow, and I'm also the mutant's greatest advocate. And that's great and all, and of course he can be that in like the version that I'm thinking, but like, his abilities can serve humanity so much better than simply taking care of
starting a school,
kind.
Basically.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the principal of a super school. Well, that's great and all, but like, you could literally establish world peace with his superpowers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be that easy. You know, I mean, not that easy, but that'd be a really interesting avenue to go down, I feel.
Yeah, I think that to build on what you just said, it'd be really cool. I think with Xavier, again, it's one of those things where it's like, doing humanitarian efforts, stuff like that. Because again, it's like, you just want it to feel like he's starting a school is great for mutants, but there's so much more,
that he could be doing. Than sitting in his stupid ass chair. No. No, I can't.
Just wheeling around.
Being like, ooh, I can see your porn thoughts.
Do you think he ever did that? He just drives by one of the X-Men, and just knows the dirty shit they've looked at. He's just like,
I shouldn't have peered into that room.
Or just telepathically just looks at him and just goes, nice.
Not only do I know your superpowers, I know your porn preferences. Charles, it's not something I want you to know. I'm into some really kinky, like, fetish shit. Yes, I know. And you just see, like, a series of ball gags float into the room.
or it's just Magneto. Magneto's got, like, he's metal ball gags just... and his hand floating.
No. Magneto, this great and evil villain, is like the most vanilla person you've ever met. He's just like, I only like missionary.
Sure thing, Charles. I only like missionary.
Doggy style is only for special occasions.
Oh my God.
That is the cost of his gift, is just being able to know anything and everything about people. I kind of do pity the man. Like, there are some times where it's like, yeah, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to. Nope, no. I didn't.
It goes back to Superman. You can hear, you have super hearing, but you hear people dying.
Yeah,
like, you can hear
the last breaths of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's who I'd want to be, is Charles Xavier. Because, like, yeah, immortality is great, but they also showed, like, the cost of immortality for Wolverine. Like,
yeah,
he has severe, like, memory loss because he's effectively, immortal.
Yeah.
I feel like a power that allows me to do as much good as I possibly can in the time that I can, and, like, set up contingencies for that when I do die. Like, here are the heroes that are going to be able to, move mankind into the future, kind of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I really like. I would like to do Charles Xavier and actually use his skills for more than just making mutants feel okay in a school environment.
Yeah.
We love you and accept you. That's a great message. You could do more for the world, bud.
Yeah. So, what we're learning here is, Rick, who was, of course, close to them, worked for the Roxxon. Remember that blonde guy we saw a few episodes back? He worked for his company, and we find out that the energy that Roxxon is making, this supposed green energy, is, like, giving people cancer and killing them and stuff like that. And so we kind of find out a little bit why Finn, a.k.a. Tinkerer...
She's a vigilante villain, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. Like, the reason, like she's going after Roxxon because they're causing... They're killing people, like, they're making them sick. And I believe... especially those who are, as we're seeing, those who are very close to her.
Again, this could be a really cute team up if they just kissed already.
I'll just say this: if you play the games, you get to the end, your wish might be fulfilled.
Where are the smooches? I just want to see it. It's been so long, Nick. This pandemic has taken everything. I just have to live vicariously through the characters in a video game.
Do you know how many brain dances I've sat through in the short time that Cyberpunk's been out? Yes, they've been buggy as shit.
Do you know how many prostitutes I have seen in Cyberpunk since
how many
it's come
pixelated prostitutes I have seen?
They're so low. Their graphics are so low.
There's so many bugs.
I can't make out their parts.
Half of their body's sinking into the floor. And I don't know. And I know it's not normal.
Good Lord.
I will camouflage, and I will manual save because that is a good spot to stop. I don't know why, but it's like, the past few episodes, it's like, hey, I know I'm about to go into some danger right now, but let me just save
before things get crazy.
And we'll see, hey, do I have the skills to, like, not get murdered by all these guys? You'll have to find out next time on Reviewcade. So as always, hey, if you want to see what happens, make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you hit that bell icon so when we do put the episode up to see if I survive or not, be sure to, hit that bell icon so you get the notifications and stuff. And as always, be sure to hit us up on social media. We're at Reviewcade on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Reviewcade. And hey, if you have a game request, reviewcade@gmail.com. That's where you can reach us. We do read our emails, do read our messages. Every time you guys comment, we comment on our stuff, and we just want to let you guys know we are thankful for you guys listening. And as always, have fun, everybody. Happy gaming, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.